And we are live with Ray and Sundance Beyond the Whistle, Episode 2. This is your host, Vols. Got Sundance and Ray joining me tonight. How are you, fellas?
Good, man. What's up with you, bro?
We're doing well, doing good.
Ignore the double audio, sorry. Should be good now. How are y'all doing?
Good, man.
Doing great, man. We're ready for round two.
We got some interesting topics to get to, so I'm ready. I don't know if y'all are, but I'm ready to get into it.
I'm ready, dude. I've been waiting all week.
All right, well, we're going to jump right into it. We had an interesting take last week between Ray and Cincy. We're just going to kind of talk about this real quick. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. But Ray and Cincy, do you all feel, which Ray you're included, do you feel that it's personal between you two, or is it just
No,
all in fun?
no. It's all in fun. And it's facts.
Facts. Okay. What do you think, Sundance?
So hold on. What I want to just reiterate
It's
for
fun league
everyone in this
facts.
league.
That's all it is.
Well, everyone in the league, can you fill me in what exactly happened in this game or whatever, and why you have this beef here with Cincy?
No, I don't have a beef. I just, I want to see more. I want to see him take it to the next level. That's all. I know it's possible.
Fair enough, fair enough. Because from what I understand, he had beef with you, right? Because of a game you had with the Browns. Is this what happened, or are we talking about something else?
Uh, no, well, no. He's making comments about when I played the Browns, but I beat the Browns. And he's talking about we disconnected in the first game. With the first game, I was on the 1 yard line in the beginning of the third quarter. There was like 6 minutes left in the third quarter. I was on the one, about on first and goal, literally just gonna dive the ball in or pitch it in, whatever I had to do, depending on how he lined up. And the game disconnect. And I was only down 10 at the time, so I was gonna be down three. We still had 20, 18 minutes of a game. It was a long time, 14 minutes, whatever it was left. So no, he's making up bullshit. It disconnected in that game, but no, that game we still had a bunch of time, and yeah, man. Browns
All right.
lost
Because
that second game. He had the lead in the second game too. I came back. I scored in the second half on a long, like a 60-yard Eckler run on the stretch to the outside and took the lead, and then held it. So nah.
sounds like to me, since he's just getting a little, he's just kind of just stirring the pot a little bit. Then that's what it sounds
He's a
like to
smart.
me.
He's a smart. What I'm saying is, he's a smart guy. His articles are genius. His opinions, you can tell he's very articulate. But like,
Provocateur is what he is.
All right, we'll move on from that. There's some good stuff there. Hopefully
because
we cleared there.
he's not even the hot seat subject this week. Since he's off the hook. We'll wait till he wins games for him to be a topic again. We'll wait till he starts winning.
Oh, shots fired!
All right.
Shots fired!
I just want to throw this out real quick before we get into it because we got some interesting topics. Everybody listening, everybody that's going to watch after it's put on our YouTube channel. All this is between Ray and Sundance. Between them going back and forth and what they're saying, it's all in fun. Don't take any of it
Sunny
personally.
delight.
Um,
Hey, just to be clear though, anything that I say about Prevail and the Panthers is 100% not all in fun.
there you have
That
it.
kid, that kid, we'll be coming for him. We'll be coming for him
Yeah,
later.
nah, it's definitely love, man. Since he knows he's a good dude, he does a lot. It's not even, I'm just having fun with him. We gotta play our roles.
Yep.
Someone's gotta be the Hulk Hogan of the league, man. So apologize.
All right. So the first topic we're going to get to is game of the week. We saw Bread beat Rams, and it brought into question is the Tyreek Hill on a streak route. Should we consider that cheese?
Right? You want to start with this one?
Yeah, no, no. That's just simply he got a good rating matchup between a strong arm quarterback and a great deep threat receiver with legs. So no, that just has to be accounted for on defense. You got to control that safety if it takes that. You got to make sure there's one on top of Tyreek Hill at all times, and if you got to be the one to be roaming the middle / watching him, you got to do it. and that could be done. So no, I definitely think it stretches the limits, of what a defense. It's not cheese. Let's leave it there, man. Not cheese.
Well, I've watched 2 games of Breds now, and the first game was against 49ers. 49ers plays a pretty aggressive defense. He likes to blitz. He likes to leave one-on-one coverage out there with no safety help quite a bit. So if he doesn't get to the quarterback, Bred is going to make you pay. And that's exactly what he did against the Niners. I didn't really find it too cheesy because he just kept getting one-on-one matchups. And if you're getting one-on-one matchups, you have playmakers on the outside. You got to get in the ball, and that's what he did against the Rams. Same thing. I mean, he's deadly because he establishes the run. So then you want to bring in a safety down into the box, and I think Rams was doing a lot of single high safety looks. And he was, from what I saw though, he backed his corners up quite a bit, and then Tyreek still made. He just got by the defense, which I don't think it's that cheesy. I also don't think Brett abuses it. There's a couple times in the second half where I felt like he could have went back to that because it was there, and he just kind of stayed away from it for whatever reason. I don't know if maybe he thought he wouldn't have time to throw the ball, but I would overall say it's not cheesy just because he doesn't abuse it, but he does it just about the right amount. And
he'll take it.
He does it to perfection.
He'll take his shots out of single back too. I mean, not saying he don't. I definitely agree with that, man.
Looking at Tyreek's stats against the Rams that game of the week, I think it was 3 catches for 139 and 2 touchdowns. What are your thoughts? I mean, to me, I think that's what kind of has fueled this Tyreek streak.
I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this as a great time to bring up someone else who's doing something else. It doesn't have quite the yards, but it doesn't have quite the catches either.
Okay.
Tyrell Williams is averaging 33.5 yards per catch on 21 catches. And he has 700 yards.
Okay. So
listen,
go ahead.
All these receivers can't compare.
Tyreek Hill is averaging 21 yards per catch. So if Tyreek Hill is cheese, what does that make Tyrell Williams?
What team's Tyrell Williams on? Who's
the Chargers? He's on the Chargers.
Yeah, that's your guy. Well, I mean, all of them can't hold Odell Beckham Jr.'s jockstrap. The guy has 750 receiving yards in about 5 games this year. So that's all I got to say about that.
All right, we'll move on. Going from Tyreek streak cheese to, in y'all's opinion, is who's the cheesiest player maybe in MHU?
All right. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this one, and I'm gonna drop some stats. Not here, but in a little bit. But in my opinion, and I haven't played everyone, I haven't watched everyone, but so far, it's my division rival, Amazing. And I'm going to get into the stats of why I think I don't want to ruin a future topic here that I'm prepared for, but I'm going to say Amazing just in terms of play style on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to go with Amazing. And I'm familiar with him because I've played him twice.
What about you, Ray?
I agree with them. That's definitely a good choice, but just from history, I'm gonna have to go Lone. Lone knows he definitely stretches the imaginations of, what sim. He's the one that showed me the motioning receiver and running back pretty much every play offense. I don't know if he still does that. He used to a few seasons ago. Like literally every play, somebody was motioning, running across the field. Like that was his offense. Was people just shuffling across the field before he hiked it. So, and he would just be hot routing all these different people. Right? You got to respect it. You got to respect his level of Madden knowledge. Definitely takes some skill.
That's the level of cheese knowledge right there.
That's cheese, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you got to go Alone. But Joe's up there. But after these losses, I don't know if it's up there because he would have definitely used it. Knowing Joe, if he had the really good cheese this year, he wouldn't have been taking them losses like that. He would have pulled it out at some point.
Well, we'll get into why that's happening though, because I got a theory.
Shit,
I was just about to get into it, but
Lone spanked him. No, that was a whooping.
we'll
Yep.
put that on
Yep.
hold for the future. All right, so talking about the future, um, the fall, the amazing fall, the fall of the Eagles.
Man,
I think
yeah, this
Sundance
has
wants this
been.
one first, so
Well,
go ahead and
listen,
take it.
I'm along for the ride here because I was in a dark spot for a while. Division was getting away from me. I faltered into some bad games myself, but I'm right back in it. But so Amazing was on his first. He tied with you in week early in the season or whatever it was, and then his first loss was to the New York Giants. He fell 21-16, and then he just lost alone and got his butt whooped 34-0. And here is a mesmerizing stat. He loses 34-0, throws 4 picks, no touchdowns with Carson Wentz. And this is not including Carson Wentz runs on passing downs. In the 34-0 loss, he ran the ball one time for 14 yards with a running back. One rush the entire game for 14 yards. Then he plays me the next week.
Sounds like Joe.
Then he plays me the next week, and he's losing 30-3 with 3.5 minutes to go in the game, and ends up making it 30-24 with just ridiculous chump change TDs. And he and in this game, minus Carson Wentz scrambling runs, which was like 6 or 7 runs for it's always like 40 yards or whatever. He had 2 runs for -1 rushing yards in the entire game.
Easy.
So that gives you 3 rushes for a combined 13 yards and 2 losses, where he was outscored 66-24 in those 2 losses. He threw 3 touchdowns in our game. Again, 3 touchdowns in the last 3.5 minutes in chump change. And then
Joe, run the ball, Joe. Run the fucking
he threw
ball.
3 picks in our game early. One was a pick 6 as well. So 3 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, back-to-back weeks combined.
Dude,
So
run
he's
a
got
4 receiver inside zone. Run a freaking. Come on, man. You gotta,
and then
spread them out and run something. Run something. Shit.
in his other loss to the Giants earlier that year, I didn't look how many rushes he had. I think it was a little bit more respectable in terms of like 6 or 7 total rushes, but he had 1 touchdown pass, 4 interceptions. And then in his tie to the Tennessee Titans, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So if you combine all those stats in his 1 tie and 3 losses, he's passed for 6 touchdowns and 13 interceptions in those 4 games. So when he turns the ball over uncontrollably, obviously anyone's going to lose, and it catches up with him because he kind of he lives and dies by the hero ball. Lives and dies by.
Oh yeah, he goes deep. Joe
loves
goes
going,
for the gusto.
yeah, he loves going for that stuff. But anyways, that's kind of why I get into why he's cheese. He runs the ball 1 time a game, and then he's just passing galore. He'll rack up some yards on you. He can score quick. I mean, he scores quick. But if there's no real play style to the realistic sim style, if you will, I guess.
Your audio is a little low, Ray.
He's taking shots.
Hey, I'm just trying to help him out with these stats, trying to break it down and help him out. Be like, hey, just run the ball a little bit, mix in some draws.
See what he has to say about that. We'll see.
Yep.
So getting back to his amazing cheese, could it be that people are starting to figure out exactly what he's doing by watching his games, and he's running the same repetitive formations, same repetitive passing plays, and that's maybe why he's taken the amazing fall? Do you think that could have anything to do with it?
Or he's coming up against good owners, and cheese can only take you so far. Like, you can still be good at the game. Like, I mean, if you have a team built to run, there's still things that you can do to beat that. Joe can put up 500 yards passing, but if you're good in the red zone, like I practiced for the red zone, and last week it seemed like every time the Broncos got in the red zone, I stopped him. He had 4 picks. It seemed like most of them was down there. So, I don't know. I think I don't know. I think it's more I think he's playing quality teams. I think that style of play will get him far, but he's not going to win the Super Bowl. Not like that. You know,
Yeah,
he's
I
going to
mean
have
when
to
you,
be balanced. He's going to
right,
have to run the ball. He's going to
right
have to
when you're
develop a run game long
right,
term.
if you pass if you run the ball one time a game, I'm going to put 8 defensive backs out there as much as
Yeah.
possible, and I have absolutely no fear whatsoever that hey, he's going to gash me for a 10-yard run here, 11-yard run.
Question 2 or 3 all game, and
Right.
you know, and I'm going to roam the middle with my linebacker. You know,
Yeah.
it's not happening. You're not doing nothing.
All right, we'll move on and talk about somebody who's already been brought up once tonight, and that's Lone. He had a dominating win against the Eagles, but since then, I'm not really going to get into it too much, but I think it is important he fell to the Falcons in this most recent advance. But he did.
Falcons are good. He's a good owner. He just hasn't. I don't know. He hasn't seen him much in chat. I'm not sure how many sims he has, but Falcons is good. You know, I know from stick skills wise from last season at least.
Yeah, he fell to the Falcons, but let's talk about that dominating performance he had against Amazing. Whoever wants to take it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say right there that that's just it showed Lone was probably better at the game. Period. You know, numbers, stats don't lie. They both have good teams, really good teams. Eagles might be a little bit better, but the Saints are up there. You know, they're both really high rated team with good players at most positions. So um, they've been developing them in all season. They probably had a little bit of XP to spend so far. So it was an even matchup with two good teams, and Lone put a nasty whooping on them. I think personally, Lone might play a little bit more. He'd say he wouldn't. You know, we all try to act too cool, but I think Lone stick skills showed right there because 34 Joe would have scored something. I know he was trying to score until the end. You know, I know nobody wants to take a goose egg, not to Lone either. So, um, you
I
know,
tell
shout
you,
out to Lone for that one.
yeah, I mean, I think Lone's a respectable owner in this league. He's got 2 pretty solid wins so far this year. He beat the Giants earlier this year, 27-7, pretty dominating fashion. And I got to say, it was literally the worst game for the Giants all year. Just couldn't really do much offensively.
The
Uh,
Redskins game wasn't your worst game all year.
no, that was a fluke,
Okay,
dude.
okay.
My
At least,
boy,
at least I
Jay.
could. And by the way, man, don't interrupt me, Vols. Just
Just throwing
hold
it. I
on
mean,
a second.
seven to
Hold
nothing's
on,
pretty
hold
rough,
on,
but go ahead.
hold on.
He
But
got beat 7-0.
yeah, man, and we'll talk about it later. So, and then his next big win, like you just said, was that 34-0 win against the Eagles, right? Just an absolute dominating fashion, start to finish. Just no laughs whatsoever. But then the thing with Lone is he's got 2 losses to the Falcons, which are kind of questionable losses. But like you said, the Falcons are kind of a spotty team. It's kind of weird that they can be really good one week and then the next week they're kind of, they just haven't put it together yet consistently. And that's what the record shows, I think. And then 2 losses that are good losses, I think, on Lone's resume is he's lost to the Bucks, who's arguably the best team in the league right now, and then lost to the Rams, who's still a top owner. He just came off a rough loss, but everyone has those nights. So he's got 2 solid losses on his resume, if you can say that. If a loss is something good on a resume, it's not, but certainly doesn't hurt his case. So I think Lone's a good owner. There's a little bit suspect to some of it, like those like 2 losses to the Falcons and everything, but I think Lone can make a push in the playoffs. So I think he's a good owner.
Yeah, I'm giving even though it's just because of the Falcons' activity, but from what I've seen in tournaments and then also in league play last year and this year, Falcons he could play. You know, he's got some stick skills, so I wouldn't knock those losses too much.
All right, we'll move on from Lone Star and his Saints to a little bit of talk in the chat today about the updated power rankings. Little
Yeah, it's getting heated.
some surprises there. So whoever wants to go first, the floor is yours.
Well, I mean, I'll just take it over first. I mean, there were some heated people. I called them out earlier, especially around Prevail and the Panthers. I mean, that guy's just always, he's kind of like the little stepbrother, to the Giants. And he got lucky with a win on me once. I blew an 11-point lead. And ever since then, he's just been chirping in that chat room, man. just like a fly, just keep bothering people, won't go away. But that being said, he's a little upset because he wasn't even up there. I think he was ranked 11th in the power rankings. He's got the same record as the Giants, who were number 5, which I think is a little questionable. We got Bucks at 1, 8-2, Titans 2, Chiefs 3. So I'm just going to start with the top 3, and I agree with that ranking. I think the Bucks is probably the hottest team in the league right now. I think they've won 6 straight games or 5 straight games. Pretty solid squads that they've beat too. And then the Titans is probably right up there with the Bucks, and you could argue that they're the hottest team in the NFL, going through a really tough division. So Vols, you've snuck up on the league, and I called this last Beyond the Whistle. I called it, hey, look out for the Titans. They're sneaking up on people, and here you are. Unfortunately, you've decided to get married and ruin your life, so now you
I'm going to be taking a little dip now.
That's right. And then Brett. I mean, Brett is a sleeping giant waiting to happen. I've watched 2 of his games. He's just very meticulous up and down the field. So, and obviously has a reputation with multiple championships previously, so that looks solid. However, I have a problem with the Saints at 4. Maybe I'm biased because I got a little look into the future and they lost. But I would have left the Rams at 4 right behind the Chiefs, right? So they still have what's the record, 9-2 or 8-2? So I leave them at 4, even though they lost to the Chiefs. And then I put the Saints at 5. I bounced the Giants out of there. And I'm actually putting the Broncos at 6. But I think the Broncos will – I think that I've said before, I think they're pretenders. So I think the rest of the time in the league will expose them because the cream rises to the top. And then I put the Panthers at 7 because the Panthers did beat the Giants, the G-men, straight up, even though it was a fluke. I blew 11-point lead. It was a fluke. If I play the Panthers again, I will beat them by 3 touchdowns. So then I put the Giants at 8.
Shots fired.
I put the Giants at 8, and then Eagles at 9, Texans at 10. And then I got – and Ray, you're not going to be happy with me because I bumped you out. You were at 9 in the power rankings, but I put you at – on the bubble with the Jags and the 49ers of getting in the top 10. I put you on the bubble, man. I put you on the bubble.
Listen, man. I just held were the Broncos number 1 or 2 last week?
I don't know.
Let me look real
about
quick.
Yeah. I don't know what they were.
Were 3.
They were 3. I just held them to 10 points. 10 points, man. 4 interceptions, 50 yards rushing. Melvin Gordon, the guy that I traded for a first and a second. Everybody said, "Oh my, how could you trade him to a division rival? Oh, it's Melvin." Dude, I knew why I traded him. His acceleration is slow. He gets he's 6'1", he's big, he's tall, he's kind of strong. He's not gonna really, bulldoze people over, and he's not really gonna burn past people. He's kind of can do it all a little bit. So yeah, he's a good back, but I got Austin Eckler. He's faster. I like him. He's younger. He's got quick development, and I mean, look at Melvin Gordon. He had 50 yards in the game. 50 yards. Case Keenum, 4 interceptions. Had a chance to win the game in the last 30 seconds. Was the first and goal on like the 3 or 4 yard line. And had 4 tries. Threw it 4 times. 4 incompletions. So, man. I got to disagree with that ranking. I'm not only think I'm close to the Jags I think the Jags have a little bit better team than I did. Not saying Chargers are a good team, but. And 49ers now, I don't remember. I think I beat the 49ers, to be honest. I would have to look at my schedule real quick.
So where would you put the Chargers at, Ray?
I'd leave them at 9. We're a top 10 team.
Okay. And
I got 3 easy games. My next 3 games are against combined like 3 wins. Cincy's got 1 win. Cards got 0. Mr. Denham's got 1 or 2. So I got a chance to win 3 games in a row and be sitting at 9-3.
You might have a point. I might have to bounce the Eagles out of 9 and put you at 9, or at least put you at 10 and bump the Texans up to 9. So, because the Eagles have looked bad 2 weeks in a row. They got outscored. What did I say? It was 64-24 or something like that in the last 2 weeks. So, I don't know. But you got some points there that maybe you should be up a little bit. But hey,
there's got to be room because the Titans are about to fall. The Titans are going to fall once he leaves. So when he goes on his break, for when he gets married, he's going to be gone for 4 weeks.
Which is a travesty, by the way. That's a travesty. I'm just saying.
And I think, my personal opinion, the Texans have a tough schedule. I was looking yesterday. If you look at the rest of the schedule for the Texans, it's really tough. I actually think Frank might make a comeback. and possibly push for that division with Mickey. I mean, obviously Mickey
Who
has a chance
who
too, but
who's Frank? Who's Frank? Who's that
the
guy? Who's
Colts,
that?
the Colts. I
Oh,
think the
wait.
Colts,
Oh, I didn't even know that guy was still in the league. I didn't even know that guy was still in the league.
because with Tennessee dropping 4 games for being gone, that's going to give all 3 of those teams a chance to get free wins and kind of come up. But at the same time, he's the leader right now, so I have a chance to. The AFC West has a chance to take both the AFC, both the wild card spots.
Correct.
Yeah, it's
To
a
be
tough
honest,
division. It's a tough
you
division.
know,
I'm
we
going to go
might
out on
take
a
both
limb,
spots.
and I'll go on and say Jags will win the division. They'll win AFC South.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be the
You look at the
Texans are-
schedules; they have the easiest schedule remaining out of all
Vols,
4 of us.
Vols,
Yeah.
listen, I know you're the the referee and all this, but I got to ask you a question back. Are you, let's say you missed the playoffs here, which is a very likely scenario. How do you feel going into year 2, being the division leader? Then you have to leave to go to your wedding to marry the love of your life. What is your mindset going into year 2? Are you out for blood, or are you just kind of like, it happened?
Well,
What?
I'm hoping if that does happen, I finish 4th in my division. That way, I get to play, the bottom
bottom?
feeders.
Yeah.
Go from worst to first in year 2. That's if that happens, that's my goal.
Yeah, I hear you. And I can't wait to play the AFC North in cross division. I mean,
Yeah.
that is just going to be
I'm
glorious.
hoping I
It's
have
gonna
that
be,
next year too. So
I'm telling you, it's going to be real. I know it'll be good for points
Yeah.
per game average and everything, stat padding. It'll be good.
Yep.
Yeah.
But hopefully,
Yeah.
I'll sneak in there. I got a little bit to say on that here at the end. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
So,
Okay. All right.
All right, we'll move on from power rankings to GGs and the GLs before the game. Is that just something people say out of respect to one another? Do they actually mean it? Is it a bunch of horse crap? What's your opinions on that? Does it piss you off if you say GG to somebody after you whip their tail and they just leave you on red? What's your
I gotta
feelings?
say, I'm gonna jump in if you don't mind, Ray, to kick it off. I do gotta say, like, if you ever have played competitive football, at the end of the game, you're usually going across and you're shaking hands and you're saying, "Hey, good game, bro, good game," whatever the number is, or something like that. Even if you're out there battling. So for me personally, I mean, I just think that's a sportsmanship deal. You just say good game, man. Like hey, good game. It was great to do battle with you. And for me, if someone doesn't say good game back, just tells me everything you need to know about their character. I don't give a crap if it's freaking Madden, if it's a real game of football. If you don't say just hey, good game, bro, I think that is a telltale sign right there. That's all you need to know about their character. And when that happens, I can't wait to play them again. I can't wait.
Ray, what's your thoughts on it?
Man, I could care less, man. I could care less, dude. If I beat you and you don't say shit, hey, I know you in your feelings, man. Straight up. And I always say good game, man. Only time I don't know if you do something that bothers me, I might. Or if you blow me out and I'm not, you say good game, yeah, for you. So yeah, have your good game moment. But I just lost 44-13. I'm good. So.
All right, that was short and sweet. We'll move on to another controversy we had last week, and that was safeties at the sub linebacker position in the depth chart. I know Sundance, you were pretty heated in the chat, so I'll let you take this one.
I was not heated. So I mean, listen. I mean, there's one party that's super guilty of this, and this is yours truly, Cincy. I mean, the guy. Again, he wrote a whole freaking book and novel on how he was like the genius of free agent signings, getting Eric Reed, and I mean, the guy's been hurt. I don't know, hasn't even done anything. But I mean, listen, I don't see what the problem is with it. I don't think it would ruin any integrity of the league. I think if I had a bunch of safeties at linebacker, it would really benefit me when I played a matchup like Amazing. Now, when I played a matchup like the Redskins, who's got an 80 strength overall running back, a pretty solid offensive line, and he runs ISOs and power Gs, I don't think that would be an advantage for my defense whatsoever. it'd be like automatically giving up 4 or 5 yards a pop unless I had an Aaron Donald to get penetration up the middle. I think if you have to learn how to use matchups, and that's what football is all about. And I just don't see how it would ruin the integrity. If you have someone who has really good stick skills and they can roam around with speed, yeah, they're going to have a huge advantage, but then you just need to run more north and south. You can use maybe a little bit of play action against them because they might take that first step up quicker. I mean, you just have to learn how to adjust. I just think that's football. I think it's football to be able to put athletes where you want to put them. Now, if you're putting like a Richard Sherman at linebacker, then that becomes cheese for sure. But if you have someone that's 74, 76, 80 strength, like that's not cheese at all. And there's a linebacker on my team, a rookie, Lorenzo Carter from Georgia. He's got 88 speed, I think 90 acceleration or something like that. So, I mean, that's faster than Eric Reed. So I don't know why Cincy was so pumped up about Eric Reed because he's got better skills than that. So anyways, that's where I'm coming from. That's all I guess. I just think it's football.
Your thoughts, Ray?
For simplicity reasons, I agree. Well, not that I agree with the rule. You know, I like that it's in place. But to be honest, I kind of agree with him with Sonny Delight that it's all about adjustments. If somebody comes out with 3 D linemen and you know 3 safeties at the linebacker spots plus the corners and the safeties, I'm going to run the ball. You know, I'm going to run something out of a 3 wide or a 4 wide set. So I don't know. I just think it could be countered, but at the same time, just for simplicity of league. Oh shit!
You're good. You're still there. We can hear you. Ray? Maybe not.
Baby, come back.
Not sure what happened there.
Oh, we lost him.
Would it be an episode of Beyond the Whistle without audio issues from Ray?
That's right.
All right, we'll wait for him to hop back in. Don't really know. Don't know if he's still in here or
So let's tell the
Shoney
world
is.
until he jumps back in. How you feeling for the wedding, big guy?
It's stressful. It's for sure. We had a lot of issues. A lot of issues today that we finally got resolved, but it's gonna be tomorrow's the rehearsal and the rehearsal dinner, and then it's gonna be real after that. So.
Yep. Yes, sir.
We will.
It's definitely real.
We'll see what happens.
So it's not too late to replace Mr. Denim with me. In case you want to let me know. I mean, I'll drive down. I'll make it work.
That's a long drive.
That'll be a good time for real.
Oh yeah, I think he's excited. I know I'm excited. So,
Yep.
We'll go on while we're waiting. I don't know if Ray's gonna get back in here or not. We're pretty much on the last topic, and that's me going MIA due to wedding and honeymoon. So, kind of led right into that one.
There you go.
What? I think he had a phone call actually, but what's your opinion on me? Not just me, but in the future, anybody else that has, that deals with life, should there be opportunities for fair sims that for people that are having success like I am, or do we just say, hey, everybody has life, deal with it, it's going to be a forced loss? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, this is a good question, right? Because it's one of those scenarios, when you got to put yourself in each person's shoes, right? So I get the perspective where you're going to be frustrated when you're ready to roll, the other person isn't there, and it's like, okay, well, how come I have to sim and probably get a loss if I'm ready to roll? But the other side of it, in my opinion, is a situation like this where if you're going on vacation or like a wedding, for goodness sake, you got a guy like you who's the hottest team in your division for sure. So it's kind of frustrating that you're going to have to just take forced losses when, you're also playing very favorable matchups. And on paper, it should be a walk-away win, but it's any given Sunday, anything can happen. Right. So it's almost like, if there is a team that's less than you overall rankings and has a worse record, then this is a completely biased thing, but maybe you should get an equal sim and a 50-50 sim to where you have a chance to get a W. So I don't know. That'd be that's tricky. I think it should be a little bit more fair. But I don't know. I see both perspectives. I don't really know if there's a clear-cut answer in this. Right. it's tough, man. It's tough.
What about in a situation where there say somebody is missing, like Frake for instance, he missed the first part of the season due to working doubles. So say somebody who's not active in the chat doesn't ever come into chat to say, hey, I play Frank, can't get a hold of him. If wonder if they message Frank, doesn't get a reply, and they just leave it. Should it go to a fair sim then, or just
No,
automatic force
yeah, automatic
loss?
force win. Yeah, yeah. If the other person's not active to at least respond, I mean, it takes 30 seconds to respond, right? Or to come in and check the Discord app once in the morning, once in the evening, or something like that. It takes 30 seconds. So honestly, I know life's busy and there's a lot more important things to do, but if the person's not being responsive and not saying like, "Hey, I can't make it even in the next 2 days, so I'm not going to be able to do it," and then you're not going to be checking up on them for the next 2 days, you just know it's not going to happen. I mean, you just got to respond. I mean, if you're excited about playing this league, you need
You
to
got to
be
show
here.
it. Right.
Right, you got to show it. And if you're not excited, that's fine. I mean, I get it. Some people just aren't into the video game and the community like others are. So let someone else jump in and be excited about it. So
Right.
that's got to be a forced win, in my opinion. I think that's a different scenario in that instance.
Right. And I agree. And that could happen while I'm gone. But I know I don't think anybody's listening that I play. But Jets, Jags, you're of course in here. Giants and Redskins, you're gonna get 4 easy wins unless you just want to be generous and maybe push it to a fair sim, maybe a wedding gift, something. I'm just throwing that out there. So that's all I
I
have to
know.
say about it.
I know. I'd be
Uh,
on board for fair sins when you play the Giants. But if you're out of the playoffs at that point, I might not be. So, but anyways, I mean, we'll see. I'm totally fair. I'm or totally down for a fair sim. I'm probably going to lose because the Giants roster is not that good on paper, but I'm totally down for it. But
yeah. I
yeah,
I just know if I'm simming Texans tonight, and then I'll have 4 more sims while I'm gone on the honeymoon. But week 17, I will be back and I will be ready for the Colts, and I'm looking forward to busting him up pretty good again. So
yeah, that's a W. That's an easy win. That's
that's
for sure.
easily. So
Easy win.
maybe I can get him a Petro and get him a little distracted. So,
Yep.
but I think that'll be it for tonight. You got any closing remarks?
No, man. Congratulations on the upcoming wedding, man. It's going to be one of the best days of your life. I think if any of the guys in the league are married, they understand it. But the day's going to fly by, dude. So just try to take it all in. But have a great time, dude. Congratulations again,
I
and
appreciate it.
super stoked for you. Yeah, you bet, man.
I appreciate it. But so we'll be back. It's looking like I'll be back the 16th. Won't be back into the Madden world till the 17th. But I'm hoping we're gonna do a Madden cast because the 17th October we should be advancing that night after I beat Frank and the Colts in Week 17.
Yes, sir.
Should be advancing to the playoffs. I hope we can do a Madden cast, talk about the playoff matchups, get a Super Bowl prediction, and then we'll be back on the 18th that Thursday, 2 weeks from tonight for Beyond the Whistle with you and
Yes, sir.
Ray. Hopefully we'll find Ray in those 2 weeks.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I'm signing off. 2 weeks from now I'll be back. You guys don't miss me. So we'll see you next time.
All right, everybody.